You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new signature wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm Little Teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the new spot for the hot. And with me tonight on He Said, She Said is my awesome co-host, Mickey Blowtorch. How you doing, Mickey?
I'm doing good. Ed, coming at you live from Ladies' Night at the Fuddruckers down on Route 9. How are you guys doing?
I thought they went out of business.
I don't know what's going on over here. They look open to me.
They're still open? Whatever.
Friday, our new spot. It's kind of weird.
Yes. So there's a bit of a shifting going around. As most people know, we used to have this show twice monthly, and now it's going to be on every Friday night. So we'll be here weekly, and it's going to be awesome sauce.
We've hit the big time.
Yeah, we did. We totally did.
We doubled our shows.
We did.
We increased productivity by 100%.
You're going to get your weekly dose of Mickey.
Weekly. Ask your doctor if I'm right for you.
I think my doctor would say, you need to wean off.
Let's not even get into the side effects.
No, let's not.
How have you been doing? It's actually, I think it's been a month, hasn't it? Because you were out of town for our last episode.
I was. So I wasn't able to it last time. So yeah, it has been 4 long weeks. 4 long weeks, but I will not desert you again unless I have good cause, in which case I will.
I think my chances
Right.
of deserting me have increased by 2 times since we have double the shows.
That's right. I was told there would be no math, Mickey. Okay.
My separation anxiety is increasing.
Anyway, so big news in the world today. Actually, just mostly U.S., but big news with the passing of a Supreme Court Justice, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who unfortunately today died of complications from cancer. So it has been, and I will. This is saying it kindly. It has been a shit show on Twitter since the news broke. I have studiously avoided it completely.
Yeah, I would rather avoid all that. It's somber when anybody passes away. In politics or not, I think she was a pretty amazing woman in her own right. And definitely our condolences to the friends and family of hers. And we were talking earlier before we got on the show. She had 27 years of service. That's pretty incredible. And
it is very, very good. And the fact that she had such a survival rate with, I believe she had pancreatic cancer, and she was diagnosed in 2009. I mean, this woman really beat the odds. So that's highly commendable. She had a very big thirst for life, and it shows.
I saw something, I didn't fact check it, but something about her being like a 3-time over cancer survivor. I don't know if that's
something
true.
Like that. She had had cancer before, but yeah. I don't know how often, but yeah.
Going through it once, let alone several other bouts of it. That's pretty incredible. But definitely our condolences to the Ginsburg family.
Yeah, it was. It was really. She wasn't one of my favorites, but I could admire her drive, and she did have a brilliant legal mind. And one of the things that I really liked about her as a person was her friendship with Antonin Scalia. That was just one of the most adorable things I'd ever witnessed. Even when they went to speak at colleges and at forums together, they would joke with each other, and they would reminisce about going to the opera together. And I mean, it would stun people that here you have 2 Supreme Court justices from opposing political points of view being such good friends that they could put all that aside and just concentrate on their friendship outside of work. And it was charming to see. So that's something that is very rare to see in politics nowadays, and I wish we could see more of it.
I think that the world does need more of it, more of that, the friendships that we can still foster and have different ideas. Different ideas, I think, is really what makes us grow as people. They don't have to be the same ideas as somebody else, but being able to listen to somebody else's ideas and vice versa, I think that's a big part of what we're lacking anymore.
Yeah, this is true. Anyway, so that was the sad news to report. Regardless of how you felt about her, it has sent a tailspin through the political world, and you're going to be feeling this for weeks. We're only 40 odd days from the election, so this is going to be. It was kind of like throwing a Molotov cocktail upon already a dumpster fire.
Ugh. I don't even want to think of.
It was more like applying napalm to the Molotov cocktail. I think. I think that's the way it was.
It really did not need this right now. So hopefully,
no, did not.
We will come out of it and persevere as a nation. I hope.
Hopefully.
So definitely our condolences to the Ginsburgs, and we'll see what happens in the future. Amazing person.
Indeed. So moving on. How was your week?
Well, let me think for a second, trying to remember what week this is. I think this was a
I
good
have no idea. I think it's the 174th week after March, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore.
Every day is just the same. I wake up and sometimes I go through like these fleeting moments of panic, like, oh my God, did I pay my mortgage? And then I look at the date and then I'm like, oh, okay, it hasn't rolled around yet. Little things like that, I'm just really unable to keep time together.
No, I've completely lost track of time, and it shows because I try to be timely, and I keep an eye on my time, on my clock, and everything. I go walking every day with my sister, and today she opted not to go, so I told myself I'll go later, and everything. And next thing I see, the clock says 10 after 10, and I'm like, hell! I completely, I had no concept of that, without her to tell me, come pick me up or whatever. I'm just like totally lost. So, and I sure as hell was not going to walk at 10 o'clock because by then it's already hot. So,
how's your temperature?
Forget that. They're starting the little fluctuation dance. So today it was nice and toasty at about 92, 93, which was not bad. Yesterday it dropped down to about 78. Day before it was a nice toasty 102. So they're doing that whole dance now. They're trying to like psych us out. Psych! It's not fall yet.
El Paso does that too. It's very wishy-washy when it comes to the fall weather. Last week we had a cold front move in, and it got down into the 40s with a high in the 60s, and it was definitely like a hoodie day. You just weren't prepared for that. And then all of a sudden we're back up to the 90s with no rhyme or reason. But it's been rather pleasant. We've been in the high 80s and lows of the low 60s.
That has been nice. I bet that's been nice. Here, it's just a crapshoot. We never know. I don't know what it is about this area, Central Texas, where the weather is just, you know what? Let's do 102 today. It's a crapshoot. It really is. Never know.
It makes no sense. And what's your sea level? Are you guys below sea level? Is there something?
No, we're above. We're above sea level. So, but it's the weirdest thing. And you see this massive rainstorm coming through the radar and everything, and it literally will part in half and go around the city I live in and then converge again. I mean, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's like, son of a bitch, I need rain.
I live pretty close to the edge of town, and I see the rain clouds building up, coming through the desert, and then it just dissipates, and then I'll see it on the other side a couple hours later.
My mom used to get so mad about that. She lived on the west side, right off of exit 13 on I-10. And so it was when she and my dad moved in, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about gardening today. She loves to garden, but they moved to El Paso, and gardening is not something you do easily there.
No.
So she contracted to put grass at her house. That when they first moved in, all they had was, gravel, the red rocks, the lava rocks or whatever. It was very nice. Well, she didn't want that. She wanted green grass. Not only did she want green grass, Mickey, she wanted 2 magnolia trees to flank the front walkway. And I'm like, magnolias in El Paso. This is not going to go over very well.
My girlfriend has a magnolia in her front yard.
It was like...
Water the hell out of that thing, though.
Exactly. And so my mom was like spending like $800 a month on watering her lawn alone. And you know what? It was my dad's idea to move. It was for work. And so he felt it was worth any amount of money just to shut her up. And he gave her the grass and he gave her the damn trees. And then bought her roses and said, go to town and just leave me the fuck alone.
Oh my! You're right
but
though.
That's, my mom has a gift for growing things, and it was weird when they sold the house. The selling point were those magnolia trees. The woman that bought the house from my parents said, just for the magnolia trees alone, that just impressed me that you took such good care that I was sure that the house would be so well taken care of. And sure enough, my parents did take good care of the house. As a matter of fact, they improved the house. So. But still, I was just cracking up because my mom insisted on magnolia trees in El Paso.
For some reason, magnolia trees with some people hold like this really huge hidden nostalgia. And I really don't get it. I guess maybe it's where you grew up or something from your childhood, but people just hate shit over magnolia trees.
See it. I can see it if you're from the South, if you're from obviously Mississippi or anywhere of the southern states or anything like that. I can see the attraction. I can see the nostalgia. But my mom is from Puerto Rico and she lived in South Texas and there was not even a magnolia tree to be found within 20 miles radius. So I don't understand why she insisted on magnolias. She didn't even have that excuse. And the funny thing is, when they moved back to their old house, because they didn't sell it, they had kept it, she had the opportunity to put in magnolia trees, but decided not to. And my dad asked her flat out why, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want them here. They just don't go with the house." And my dad's like, "How does a tree not go with a house? It's just a tree." I don't know. My mom was coordinating the flora with the house, whatever that meant. I don't know.
Well, I can understand. You're not lying though. It is almost impossible to grow anything down here, and really, what you fertilize everything with is just money. I got my water bill today. It was $120. I almost just fell over. I didn't want to see a $120 water bill. I'm sure other people have it worse, but to me, that's a big ass water bill. And I've got such a small lawn. It's the size of a swimming pool, and I've got the vegetable garden. I've got my perimeters lined with Italian cypress trees, and then I've got my rose garden in the courtyard. And to keep all of those wet during the summertime, it's going to take another village. It's not cheap, and it takes a lot of TLC because of the summer heat and just the blistering sun.
Oh, it's it can drain you. And I know that El Paso has water restrictions, pretty stiff ones, if I recall correctly, correct?
They do. I don't think I've ever seen them enforced, and I just pretend like I don't know about them, and I just water the shit out of my yard and plants.
Oh, that's nice. We have what I call, and I don't use this term lightly, we have water Nazis here. I mean, we literally have people driving around checking to make sure that nobody is running any water between the hours of 9 in the morning and 7 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And if they do catch you, yeah, and it depends on the stage. We're constantly on a stage one, which is uber ridiculous because, they say, we're at stage one because we're close to the minimum that we can drop the aquifer to, but the aquifer is bottomless. So I don't understand why they have measured it or whatever. And so, we're constantly at stage one. And when we slip to stage two, that's when the Nazis come out to check on who's watering the lawn at what hours. When we get to stage three, depending on your zip code and your house number, you can only water once a week for 30 minutes between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 a.m.
So,
and yeah, so, but then the HOA gets at you because your lawn is not green. So you're like, I can't deal with you people.
Fortunately, I've got a desert landscape front yard, and the backyard is the only area of the house that's got any lawn. And I do all my watering like at 4 a.m. So even if there were people going around, unless the water company is going to rat me out, then I don't think I'll get caught. Even if there's restrictions, I have no idea, to tell you the truth. I know when I was a kid, I remember like houses with odd numbers could only do it on Wednesdays, and houses with even numbers were Thursdays, something like that, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think Mom had to do that, and she was like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to water when I want to. Like, okay.
What have you been gardening?
Oh, me? Well, I bought my fall mums. I was so excited. I normally kill everything, but for some reason, one of last year's mums came back, and I'm like beyond excited. I was like over the moon. So I said, I'm going to do exactly what I did last year with this mum to 3 more mums, which is basically just water you until Thanksgiving and then just ignore you for the rest of the time. And which is pretty much what happened with the mums that came back anyway. So I got my fall mums done for the backyard, and I expanded I have a tree, a live oak in the front yard. And I had a ring of, those stones, those rounded stones to make a ring around it. Well, the tree had grown a lot. So the stones were really close to the trunk. So I got more stones and I expanded it out, and I dug through that to make sure to see where the, what do you call those? The roots were at, and I put more dirt on, and then in between where the roots were, I actually put some lantanas, and it looks so pretty. Oh, and I put some of my painted rocks that I had found out there.
Oh, that's really super cute.
I know. My neighbor kids, they came by and they wanted to take them, and I said, no, I'll paint you your own, but you leave these alone. So I did.
That's adorable. I still got the 2 that you sent to us on my kitchen counter. We love them to death. I had a funny story.
You guys are...
Since you brought that up. I didn't know what mums were. And there used to be this house on my way to work that had this big sign out, and it said something like Mums Garters. And for years, I thought that this was like some kind of fetish dominatrix living there.
That's adorable.
I guess she sold flowers to all of the high school kids and all of that going through homecomings and whatnot.
Yes. Yeah, that is a big thing in Texas.
MUM, the British spelling of it. I just thought it was like some kind of English themed dominatrix thing going on there. I was like, oh, that's odd and interesting.
I'm making a note of that. So anyway, moms are big in Texas. We have, the homecoming games in high schools. So each high school, when they have their one specific game, is their homecoming game, and the girls all wear mums that were. When I was growing up, their boyfriends would buy them a mum, or whoever was their secret admirer would, or their parents or whatever. And they were live mums, Nowadays, most girls will actually go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's and buy a silk mum and then decorate their own and have their own now. I must have made, I want to say about 20 in the past 4 years. For because I used to volunteer over at the high school and everything, and so I made quite a few for some of the girls. They were like, "Oh, Miss Aggie, I don't know how to make one." I'm like, "I got a glue gun. I can figure it out."
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's a really big tradition, but I've noticed that it's mostly here in Texas, and it was funny because my cousin back home bought a flower shop. He and his wife bought a flower shop and wanted to start something new and different in school. And so I told him about this mum tradition that we have here. And he was like, that actually sounds kind of cool. Can you send me any pictures? And so I sent him pictures of the ones that I had made. And he said, those are really, really gaudy. People wear these things. And I said, it's for football. It's a tradition here. I don't make the rules, dude. I'm just giving you an idea.
Wow.
So what he did was they have something similar, but with baseball and basketball over there. And so he kind of decided to advertise, have your sweetie wear that with ribbons that have the guy's name and his number and the school name and all that stuff. And they sold out of mums in 4 days. And they freaked out because they did not expect that. They didn't think anybody would actually like that. And it took off. So now they're doing it over there. I'm such a trendsetter.
Because he's not laughing now.
Huh?
He's not laughing now, I guess.
No, he laughed all the way to the bank. They sold the flower shop because it was doing so well.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
So anyway, but yeah, that's what I've been doing my fall planting and getting all of the stuff. Trying not to winterize too early, but I kind of want to and just get it over with.
Months away from it. I think I'm going to probably grow up until Thanksgiving. Are you doing a vegetable garden at all?
I am not allowed to have a vegetable garden by order of my HOA.
Not even in your backyard?
Not even in my backyard.
Wow.
I could get away with it if I put it in pots. And in pots I have, herbs for the most part. So that's how I get away with it. But the reason that they decided not to was due to somebody was composting and it got out of hand.
I can understand that.
And I'm not sure what they define as out of hand, but there were bones found that were,
from a cold
suspicious looking. But I think it was just they had processed a pork at their house, a pig at their house, so they had pork bones and they put them in the compost, and it kind of stinks up after a while. So. And somebody said, "We see bones in their backyard." Oh my God! It was hilarious, actually, when you think about it.
Something cool that I've done. I guess 2 years ago. This is my second year with it. I built a raised bed garden, and I guess it's about 4 foot by 30 foot, something like that. And so I've been growing hatch green chilies in it, which are doing beautifully. I got a lot of okra. The okra is going out of control. I got some cucumbers that are just getting huge, and some strawberries. It's just kind of a odd selection, I guess. But the cool thing about the hatch green chilies that I'm doing is all of the ones that I grow, I'm turning into hot sauce. And I made my first batch of it yesterday.
How amazing.
And
that is so cool.
It's really... Did I show you the picture on Twitter?
I think you did. You should post it in the chat so the guys can see it too.
Oh, I don't know. But it is pretty neat. I'm using a process with fermentation. In fact, on the previous episode that Doc Scott was on, we talked about that. Him and I are doing kind of a little collaboration, seeing who can come up with like the coolest recipe. And then we're going to get together and test out our recipes and have a couple drinks. That should be really fun.
Is this going to be in El Paso, or is it going to be over where he's at?
It'll probably be here in El Paso.
Okay, give me a heads up so maybe I can drive up there. I can be the judge.
Well, Doc Scott, the heartthrob of the Southwest.
That would be funny.
But it's really cool. The process is really similar to how you do sauerkraut and kimchi and things like that. So we're fermenting the peppers, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks, and then you process them and puree them and liquefy them and bottle them. And so I did my very, very first one yesterday, and I think I'd had mine going since like the 4th. So it about 3 weeks. And finally, I decided to pull it out and try it out. And it got really close to the taste of sriracha. I was a little surprised.
Wow.
Didn't
Very
quite the heat, but the flavor was very similar. It had a lot of Asian accents, which I'm assuming is coming from the fermentation process.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I know in Puerto Rico we have it's not a hot sauce because it's not sauce, it's liquid. But basically we take our indigenous chili that we have. It's called ají, and we put it in vinegar, and we let the vinegar just soak up all of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother had a really good recipe for it, and she's bitter like most old Puerto Rican women and took it to the grave with her. But my mom makes a really good simile, so I'm gonna get that recipe. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send me the name of that so I can Google it and do a little bit of research, and maybe we can find one online and try it too. That would be.
And it's really weird because I grew up with this stuff and I could recognize it when it's on the shelf. It looks disgusting, but apparently people just love it. They put it on all their food. And as a regular rule, most Puerto Rican food is not spicy.
No. I was very surprised when I got stationed down there and had my first few meals. I was waiting for I was thinking of something. It was going to be like tropical Mexican food is what I had pictured.
No, not at all. No, we reserve heat, to put if you want it, as opposed to cooking with it. So, but I'll send it to you. It's not hard to make. The only problem that you would have is finding the chilies over here, because I don't believe that they're imported. But I'm guessing that with the process itself, you can substitute any other chili and make something.
I could probably just grow them.
You might be able to, if I manage to sneak you some seeds.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely send that to me. I'm curious now. I don't remember an indigenous pepper when I was stationed down there.
I think the most common one is called ají, and it looks, for lack of a better term, it just looks like a deformed cherry. And to tell you, I'm serious, it does. My grandmother, this is a true story. And to this day, my sister laughs about it and says I deserve it. But anyway, when we were growing up, my grandmother, my father's mother, had a cherry tree in her backyard. Now, her backyard was not like, conventional, there's dirt out there with grass. This was actually a cement patio, and then you actually took steps up to a part where there was some dirt and there were things growing in it, like trees. And one of them just happened to be a cherry tree. Anyway, one time, my grandmother had picked us up from school. I think I was in second grade and my sister was in first grade. Or I was in first grade and she was in kinder. First grade and kinder, that's what it was. And she took us to her house to wait for my parents to pick us up. Well, when my parents came to pick us up, they're all discussing about, dinner and all that stuff. They were going to have my grandmother go with them so that we could all have dinner or something. I don't know what it was. But my sister convinced me to go outside and get some cherries. And I'm like, no, we already had cherries.
Uh-oh.
And she's like, no, let's get some more. So we go outside and completely miss the freaking tree that's way above our eye level, right? Because we're tiny.
Sure.
So we go around to the other side of the house where she has shrubs growing, really pretty. She had hibiscus. She had all sorts of things. Well, there's this magical little plant with little weird looking cherries on it. And I tell my sister, they don't look like cherries. And she says, they're cherries. And I said, they're deformed. Well, the Spanish word for, And she's like, don't be such a ninny. They're cherries. Now, keep in mind, she's a year younger than I am. And I'm still taking orders from her, okay? So she says to eat them. So we get 2 each, and we start eating them. And our mouths were on fire. We run back in screaming. My mom was like, "What the hell did you do?" It was,
Oh my God.
oh, we were drinking water with a bunch of sugar in it to try and cut the heat. And then because it actually stung our skin on our face, my grandmother put Pond's cold cream on us. And so we had these little white beards going. And it was just hilarious. To this day, my sister laughs and says, hey, I could get you to do anything. I was like, yeah, you could, bitch.
My God.
So yeah, that was one of the best gardening stories ever. How we confused cherries for ahias for cherries. So
Deformed cherry.
yeah. So
Wow.
so that's what I've been doing. I've been planting flowers. Oh, I got lantanas too.
Oh,
I like that.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I got yellow ones this year. Last year they were like the pink ones, pink and yellow, the variegated. And the deer apparently like them because I got up one morning to go water and it was gone.
Oh.
I mean, down to there was a little, like maybe half an inch sticking out of the ground where it used to be. It was like, holy shit. I was like, I hope it was worth it. Oh, man.
Poor deer's probably tripping balls now.
Probably. I don't know. They like coming to the yard because the acorns. They love to eat the acorns. So I gather the acorns and I put them in a bowl, a flower pot. And so it's easily accessible to them. So I'm hoping that this year they leave my flowers alone because they always eat the lilies, and I think they ate another mum one year, and so and the lantanas were gone. Yeah, so they're well fed. The deer are well fed around here.
I just had this mental image of like a Far Side deer with the little legs sticking out of this gigantic torso. It was funnier in my head.
I can picture it. Oh my goodness.
Well, we are at the top of the hour. Would you like to hit commercial? And when we come back, we can talk about Halloween costumes. What's going to be in and out in 2020?
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll be back after these messages.
Okie dokie.
Business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
There's nothing more predictable in life than the unexpected. Lightning will always strike. Hail will fall on roofs. Fortunately, there's AAA. AAA has been helping members stay prepared for over 100 years. So when unusual storms, fallen debris, or sudden leaks happen, you'll be covered. Check, check, and check. Get the home and auto insurance you need by talking with a AAA insurance agent today. Visit AAA.com/insurance or stop by your local AAA store.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
And we are back. Did you miss us, or were you aiming?
Oh my God, that was the worst dad joke I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Oh, that was bad. Welcome back. What a wonderful break that was. I hope everybody enjoyed these commercials and our coming back music. You know, I for some reason I just feel so off that it's Friday. I'm going to have to get used to this. Such a different kind of a feel tonight for some reason.
I know, it's just a real day, and you know, it's our first Friday. Bader Ginsburg has passed away. It's kind of sombering up Twitter, and it's kind of ramping up Twitter, and it's kind of evolving Twitter into this mesh of, you know, pure volatility. And so I don't know. It's a weird day.
Yeah, it is a weird day. It's actually the whole vibe today has been kind of strange in itself. You know, everything just seems a little off. Driving through traffic, everybody's kind of in my way. Traffic's not flowing right. Nothing seems to be flowing right. I guess it's just one of those days where the universe is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
So whatever. I'm having a beer.
Well, good for you. I have to wait.
I think next week we should do a drinking episode and rate some drinks.
Yeah, we should. I can talk about my original recipes. So
we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we could do is I guess if you send some simpler ones, I could make them over here and we could have them together.
Oh yeah, I will definitely send you all the recipes, and you can choose what you'd like to try.
Look what I've got in the cabinet. I think all I have is whiskey and tequila at the moment. So if you can send something compatible where I don't have to go get $80 worth of booze for a show, that would be pretty.
Oh, no. Most of my stuff, no. As a matter of fact, remember when Ina Garten, I think it was Ina Garten, did that really funny, the perfect margarita or something during quarantine or whatever, and she used like an entire bottle of tequila and an entire bottle of this and poured it into a giant glass.
I like her already.
It was great. And she wasn't the only one. Apparently, Stanley Tucci also had a video that he uploaded to Instagram, and he's a very good-looking gentleman, and he was wearing a very well-fitting shirt, and apparently women noticed. And I was like, you know.
Was he showing party hats?
No, he was, bald headed and everything, but he was like making the perfect Negroni, and women were mostly talking about how great he looked in his clothes, blah blah blah. And I'm going, pay attention to the drink. Wow. Pay attention to the drink. This is important.
That's kind of funny because Stanley Tucci's never been quote unquote a Hollywood heartthrob.
No, he's not. But he keeps himself very fit, and apparently it showed. I mean, he wasn't bulky or anything, but he just, for a man his age, he looked really good. So women were just like, wow, where has he been? I'm like, he's been everywhere. Have you not been paying attention? It was cracking me up. I'm like, I don't know. Some people are just like very superficial that way. I was more interested in the perfect Negroni, to tell you the truth. I wasn't really paying attention to him, but it was pretty funny to see all the women commenting on the video. That's cool.
Do you know who Josh Gates is?
Yes. Destination Unknown?
Yes, that guy. I hate him because he's so fucking cool. I just want to be that guy. He's got the personality. He's funny. He's an archaeologist, an adventurer. He's got the coolest life, and he gets to jet set around the world exploring shit, and he gets paid for it. But
this is what Indiana Jones should have been.
Exactly.
He is what Indiana Jones should have been.
If Indiana Jones lived today, he would be the modern day Indiana Jones.
Yes, he would.
Cool dude.
And don't get me started, because Indiana Jones is not my favorite character, but that's okay. Even though though I have done archaeology and that I'm an anthropologist by training, he's still not my favorite character because he was a fucking grave robber, okay?
Wow. Okay. I guess that's going to have to be an episode on its own. I would like to revisit that. We've got some.
Welcome to Liesel's
things.
Shit Show.
Anyway. But going back to Josh Gates, since the stupid virus thing happened, he's been filming a lot of shows from his home office at home.
Right.
And then he Skypes with cool people. They talk about cool shit. He talks about highlights from the old shows, but like every show, when he's Skyping with I think he Skyped with like a bunch of 80s dudes last time, like Bill and Ted. I think he had the guy that played, or Winters, I forget his name.
Alex Winters.
Alex Winters, yeah. He was on a couple of other 80s icons, but each show, when he's Skyping with the cool dude, he'll make a drink themed to like that particular show. And
that's
so
really
he's boozing it up like the rest of us are. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I know that there was a video going around on Twitter where they showed a guy, he was like out for a walk and the recycling bins were all out. So he was like videotaping everything that was on the, recording what was in all the recycling bins, and they're all full of booze bottles.
I saw that. Every single recycling bin on the street was jam-packed.
Yes, it was. It was epic. But I mean, you're stuck at home, and there's only so much family you can take after a while.
To me, the drinking has been in self-defense.
Yeah,
just such a shit show. Have some drinks and have fun. I have partied like a rock star this year, probably more so than I have throughout the rest of my the last 5 to 10 years. I've just gone overboard with the partying and having fun and acting like a total complete douchebag. It's been great, but to me, that's how I guess cope.
Yeah, well, some people cope, with, but they know their limits. You know what I mean? I mean, they know that, oh, okay, I got completely drunk this day this week. I better, cut back or do something else. Balance. They do balance out.
No, I think all bets are off now. Because I used to okay, I'm only gonna maybe have one drink this week, and then I'll drink during the weekend. But like almost every other night, it's all, we're gonna live forever, woo, party type shit. And I tell you what,
feet tall and bulletproof.
and the girlfriend is right alongside with me, going apeshit crazy. We're like the Bonnie and Clyde of partying. We're Sid and Nancy without the domestic violence.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good.
So, since we got sidetracked on booze, let's talk about Halloween costumes. What's hot and what's not in 2020?
I think I found the costume that most people are going to be wearing this year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be something from the Tiger King. I mean, those people had such an iconic look, during that show. I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of the ones. Either Joe Exotic or
anything that's even remotely close to Joe Exotic, you already know it's Joe Exotic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Joe Exotic is going to be one of the top costumes. But for some reason, I don't know what her deal is. She's always wearing those flower crown things. I think she's, that's a look.
Yeah, and then she wears like leopard print shit. So leopard print. I don't know what kind of message she's trying to put out there, but I think we all just know that she's a super crazy bitch.
Very. Very. So, yeah, and with the whole, and she's on Dancing with the Stars, dude. I'm like, why? Why would you even let her on? I have no idea. Whatever. It'll probably just burn down or something. She might kill her partner. I don't know.
Well, the tigers need to eat, right?
Yep.
So I was looking through costumes. I was going to try to come up with a list of offensive costumes, and I went to Good Housekeeping, and their list of offensive costumes was so offensive and unfunny and not even appropriate that I don't even want to talk about it.
No.
You can already imagine all of the different costumes. So I'm a little pissed off. I mean, they took a total hardcore social justice turn on that article. You know, they could have gone a little bit tongue-in-cheek. They went overboard with shit that I wouldn't even imagine people would have ever dressed up as. And it was just ridiculous. So what I did go with was I found the 75 best couple costumes to prove that you're the most creative duo. And the first one is super cute. Is Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Funny from Doug.
Oh, I love that show. I will readily admit, as an adult, I watched all those kid shows because they were fun.
They were fun. They were light. You know, that was the golden age of Nickelodeon, in my opinion.
Yes, it was. And Hey Arnold, that was another one.
Hey
I
Arnold.
loved Hey Arnold. That was one. I think that one was my favorite.
Even like the tween soap operas that they had on, like Hey Dude and Salute Your Shorts and all of that, they were fantastic. Nickelodeon was great in the mid-90s.
Yes, it was.
So that's my first offering to the costumes. What you got next?
As far as like couple costumes?
No, whatever.
Or just anything. Because I kind of like couples costuming because, you know, you can, you know, do something really very, very creative. One of my favorites was, I did this when I was in college. I actually got, and this is really easy to do, towels are like the best thing for costuming because you can pin two towels at the, you know, at the long tips, you know, and they'll hang on your shoulders and everything. And so my girlfriend and I got 2 white towels each and then 3 bottles of tempera paints.
Okay.
And we mixed colors, and I was grape jelly and she was peanut butter.
That's pretty cute.
So, and we did, and this was back in the 80s, you know, we came up with that. That was my roommate and myself. So, and we came in 3rd place for costume. That wasn't too bad because that was like really inexpensive to do. So
last year, my girlfriend and I, we got to dress up twice. One of them was for a costume party that was kind of mid-month, and then, of course, on Halloween. And the costume party that we went to mid-month, this was probably, let's see, we've been together over a year now. So it's still a fairly new relationship. But last year was our early year of dating.
Uh-huh.
So I guess we got together in July when we started seeing each other. And we were just like totally ride or die by September. So we went to this costume party, and the theme was cops and robbers. You had to pick some kind of cop element or a criminal element. So we went as undercover vice prostitutes. And she ordered the costume that Julia Roberts had in Pretty Woman. You know, the little blue skirt and the white top type thing. Yes. And she got the blonde wig and the boots. And I made some really, really short Daisy Dukes from a pair of jeans that had holes in them.
Oh my word.
Like you could see my ass cheeks hanging down, my hairy legs. So I got some, like 1970s tube socks with the stripes and wore them all the way up to my knee. And then I got a shirt that said "One in the Oven" with an arrow pointing down. And then I tied that up in a knot over my beer gut. And I had a blonde mullet. And we won the funniest couple of the party. It was great.
That is epic.
And then on Halloween, we went as I went as Fidel Castro, and she went as Che Mascara.
Oh my God!
It was pretty cool. It was adorable.
That's epic. That's really epic. As you know, I tend to go all out for Halloween as far as costuming goes. And
yes, your
costumes
are amazing.
I've had some success. I mean, I try to think out of the box, but that's where, you know, when I was growing up, my parents didn't want to buy costumes because, you know, when we were growing up, the costumes that you could buy were at Kmart, and it was, the really cheapy,
Yeah.
plasticky costumes and stuff like that. And they really didn't want to do that because, they felt it was, they were crappy. So why waste money
You
on that?
remember the smell of those costumes from the 80s, 90s? They all had the same smell.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was eek. So, so I try to think out of the box. I mean, I think one of the ones that I thought really out of the box was the post-apocalyptic Alice in Wonderland. I thought that one was really cool. And the one thing that I had to go really out of my way to get was the wig, because it was not going to be a blonde. That wasn't happening, but it had to have blue in it. And I finally found one that was blue, black, and white. And I thought, that's perfect. That'll be great. So, but I think I ended up sending that wig over to Germany because my German friend saw it and she said, "Oh, that would be perfect for fashion. Can I borrow it?" And I said, "Sure." So I mailed it to her. But I had a thought about something this year, but a lot of people might be doing the same thing. So I don't want to seem like I'm, copying somebody or anything. So I'm still thinking about it. I don't know what to do this year. Last year was fun, and I had a lot of the adults that were coming by asking me if I was actually providing adult candy. I actually had a little box of the little bottles off to the side, and I said I would hand them out, but I'm not allowed to just hand them out. So I'm just going to put them here, and if you feel like taking one, you can.
I love it. I absolutely love it. This year, my little community, I live in an HOA, and it's a very small, good-sized. A lot of it's transient military, but my particular street has got a lot of permanent folks, and the party's always in somebody's garage. Before the summer hit, it was always I was always throwing down in mine almost every other night, and then it just got too damn hot. So all of the neighbors, we ended up getting really close during this the pandemic, which I really hope stays that way, because I think that this it's almost like a throwback to Americana from days gone by, when your neighbors were like your little social group,
Yeah.
And it's kind of reverted that way, and it's been fantastic. My neighbors are beautiful people. I absolutely adore them. So on Halloween's, what we have done in the past is we usually get all of our barbecues together and put them in one driveway, and then we'll grill the shit out of a ton of burgers, hot dogs. We'll feed all of the kids. We'll feed all of the parents, and the neighborhood itself gets packed. They shut the gates at 6 p.m. and they don't let anybody else in, so everybody's got to rush in prior, and then the streets just flood over with trick-or-treaters. It's kind of like a Halloween Mardi Gras. It's so cool. My first year in the neighborhood, that's how I met the neighbors. So that's what we do every year, and we're super bummed out this year because of, fucking COVID ruining everything for everybody. So this year, the neighbors and I and my girlfriend, we're going to rent a cabin out in the mountains about 4 hours from here, and we're going to get out of town, so we're not going to be home, and we're not going to be bummed out that the Halloween, block party is not happening, because really that's what brings the neighborhood together.
Yeah, it does.
That's probably our most favorite defining moment as neighbors in the community, is what we do for Halloween. Everybody talks about our house. Everybody talks about the guys that do the burgers and the dogs, and everything's just awesome. It's such a good time. So this year we're saying, fuck it. We're getting cabins. We're going to do the bobbing for apples. We might do a little Halloween costume party, play some games, and just have fun.
Oh, you should. You totally should. We used to have that. When I say we, is the neighborhood that I'm in, we are in a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So we would all meet at the end, and we'd have a table, and everybody would bring their basket of candy, so that when the kids came down, it was one-stop shop. They didn't have to ring any of the doorbells. And so somebody would actually have a grill going, and we would chip in for burgers and hot dogs, and and drinks and whatnot and everything. And sometimes some of the parents were like really tired, so they would take a soda or take a hot dog with them or whatever. And it was really, really cool. And now, this year we won't be able to do it. So, and that was another thing that I think has made it difficult for me to come up with a costume, because I have no reason to get dressed up this year. So, which sucks. But
I wouldn't mind doing a little something, but I don't think I'm just not. My heart's not into it at all. It might change too, because the season has just landed. So who knows what's going to happen between point A and point B?
True.
I think this year we're kind of doing like, it's going to be like Halloween with the Cranks. We're trying to escape Halloween because that's our thing.
I know. It's going to suck.
I know. I don't even get me started on Christmas. I am a huge Christmas guy, and I'm just like scared to death that Christmas is going to suck so much ass.
Do not even go down that way.
I know, but I went to Sam's Club today. The fucking Christmas shit's already out. Like it's almost like I'm being mocked, I'm trying to get through life, not noticing people wearing masks and shit like that. But then
I think by Christmas time, people are going to be so fed up that they're just going to, I don't want to say throw caution to the wind, but I think that's what's going to happen. They're like, you cannot keep family away from Christmas. You just can't.
That could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on, what really is honestly going on, that we have unable to have ascertained the severity of the situation because of everybody being assholes about it. So, but I think you're right. I think families are going to say, fuck it, let's Christmas out, because, that's the one time of year that everybody, I don't know.
No, no, it's true. And Thanksgiving, that's another one. I think that's the point. Yeah. That's the one that's going to set everybody off, because that's when families get together in preparation for Christmas. It's like,
that's when
I always thought of Thanksgiving as the gauge. Like, who am I going to get along well enough that I want to see on Christmas? Okay. And usually it's everybody. I mean, I get along with most of my family, but some family members do have issues, and sometimes things will blow up, and everything is fine and dandy until somebody says, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And then all hell breaks loose, so oh well.
Story as old as time. Wow, we really went off on a kind of a dark tangent there.
I know.
It's a weird fucking Friday. What
it is.
Horrible Friday to start our show off on.
I know, but it was fun. It was good.
I think we're going to get used to the new spot. I'm pretty excited about being here weekly now instead of waiting for every other week, because that kind of threw things off. But it's just going to take some getting used to.
It is.
So obviously next Friday we're going to have to do a drinking episode.
Yes, we do. And I'll send you all my recipes, and then you can decide and everything.
Or we can go to the store and buy some crazy shit again, like we did last time with the canned wine.
Oh my God! Did I tell you what happened with that other wine that I saved?
No.
I put it in a mason jar. Okay, I put it in the refrigerator. I went to serve it, and it had stained the mason jar, and no amount of scrubbing would get it out. So I had to pour Clorox in there.
Wait, how does something stain glass?
I know, that's what I was afraid of. So I dumped it out. I said, I'm not drinking this.
You could start another art form of doing like some stained glass mosaics from the different wines.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
You should have taken a picture. How does something stain glass?
I don't know. I guess it was an old jar, so it had been scratched and everything. So it had been already edged from canning and everything, but still, I was just like, this is not good.
Oh, that's crazy. And I suppose on that note, we should probably sign off. It is the bottom of the hour, and time to end our Friday show, our first Friday show.
Our first one, yeah. The first of many.
Why don't you tell everybody where everybody can find you? You've got so many shows.
And I know. I've become the female Orty, apparently. apparently.
40.
You can find me at Aggie Rican on Twitter, as well as at Aggie the Barkeep. That's the cocktail account. And you can find me Fridays here at 7:30 Eastern with Annie Vodka. We are launching a new show starting next week. It's going to be called Broadly Speaking, and followed that by this one, He Said, She Said, with Mickey Blowtorch. And you can find me on Tuesday nights as well with Martini Shark doing A Pot Divided. And where can we find you?
You can find me every Friday night on the coolest show ever. And you can find me on Twitter, the only piece of social media you'll ever find me on, at Mickey Blowtorch, being a fucking awesome dude.
As always. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Good night, America.
Good night.